when a blizzard suddenly swept through the forests of central Siberia. Crew knew he had to find a hiding place immediately. A shelter. The mysterious hut appearing before him gave him new hope for survival. I bet your phone battery is hovering around 55% right now. If you haven't laid down yet, let me know you're there. Now, cross your right leg over your left and join me in today's bedtime relaxation session. When the snow is mixed with ice shards, it's a very bad sign. But this stone hut appearing in front of him reignited Crew's hope of staying alive. He knows the temperature is dropping rapidly. By the looks of it, no one has been here for a very long time. Crew steps inside. He discovers there's actually a stone fireplace. However, it feels even colder inside the hut than outside. The wooden boards are frozen solid to the metal sheets. He brings his backpack inside first. Although the hut is colder than the outdoors, at least it blocks the biting wind that cuts right through his clothes. Crew lays his sleeping pad over the wooden boards. Tonight's luxury bed is ready. When he goes to close the door, he finds an unexpected surprise behind it. He discovers a pane of glass hidden there. While examining the glass, he notices a huge gap in the back of the house. Crew immediately decides to use the glass to cover this large opening. He pulls some wooden boards out from under the bed. He plans to use these boards to build a frame for the glass. Then, he fits the frame tightly into the drafty opening he found earlier. It was precisely this decision that allowed him, the next day, to witness the most beautiful snow scene of his life. The snow outside is mixed with ice pellets. Crew is certain tonight will be brutally cold. It could easily drop to minus 20 degrees. The snow is getting heavier. The most important thing right now is to get a fire going. If he can light the fireplace in the hut, and as long as there is enough firewood, it will be incredibly warm inside. Once the fireplace is lit, Crew shuts the door. These stone fireplaces heat up slowly. But once the temperature rises, the interior becomes very cozy. The snow outside has now turned into a full-blown blizzard, accompanied by force 6 gale winds. While the door holds back the storm, the fireplace is rapidly heating up. Looking at the weather outside, Crew considers himself very lucky to have found a hut like this. He warms his numb hands and feet by the fire to get his blood circulating again. Now that the temperature inside, it's slowly rising. Crew takes an iron bucket and heads out. He fills the bucket with snow about 10 meters away and brings it back inside. Upon re-entering, he can clearly feel the significant temperature difference from outside. The hut will soon become toasty. He places the iron bucket on top of the stove. The hot stove meets the snow-filled bucket, generating a large amount of steam. Using the snow while it's packed and dense, what he does next is a textbook wilderness survival skill. He takes the snow from the bucket and stuffs it into the drafts around the door. Then he goes back outside and repeats the process, packing snow into all the cracks in the stone walls. This way, he effectively blocks the cold air from entering. He uses a board to cover the largest gap at the door. Don't underestimate this piece of wood. As long as the wind can't blow in, the fireplace inside can provide maximum heat efficiency. It is precisely because of this technique that when the cold wave hits tonight, his hut will remain warm and comfortable. He wipes down his luxury bed. The indoor temperature is rising rapidly. Though the blizzard rages outside, it is already very warm inside the hut. He takes off his jacket and hat, sits on the bed, and begins preparing today's snowy feast. The fireplace has heated the chimney red hot. The heat radiating from the stove and pipe fills the hut with a warm, dry atmosphere. Crew drizzles some olive oil over the chicken legs. Then, he adds some black pepper and rubs it in evenly. Simple seasoning brings out the most. authentic wild flavor. After skewering the chicken legs on a wire, he places them inside the stove for high-temperature roasting. The wire holding the meat sits under the lid, weighted down by a heavy stone. The chicken legs sizzle over the hot coals, dripping oil, and releasing an irresistible aroma. The snow outside has stopped, and the view is breathtaking. Time's up. Crew opens the stove and takes out the chicken legs. They are roasted perfectly crispy, outside, tender, inside. The scent of charcoal grilled black pepper fills the air. Ignoring the scorching hot wire, Crew grabs the chicken immediately. As he takes a bite, juices burst from beneath the crispy skin. After the meal, he drinks a cup of hot water. The water doesn't even steam much anymore, which means the room temperature is at least 20 degrees. The excessive heat is slowly melting the snow on the roof. Feeling the heat rising, Crew steps outside to cool off. The air outside is incredibly fresh, but it's still too cold. He quickly heads back inside, getting ready to sleep. A simple stone wall against a cliff, under this man's skillful modification, became the only safe haven in the blizzard. Not only can he survive the cold winter here, but he can also enjoy a delicious meal in the snow. He is truly living a free and wild life. One day, David accidentally got lost in the wilderness. The biting wind and goosefeather snow buried his footprints and the path. In the blink of an eye, the sub-zero temperatures made him shiver uncontrollably. His teeth chattered. He desperately gathered some dry grass to start a fire. But the sparks from his ferro rod touched the grass and only produced a wisp of smoke before dying out. Frustrated, David kicked the pile of grass. Helpless, he had to force himself to keep moving forward. He urgently needs to find a sheltered spot right now. Otherwise, he risks hypothermia in this freezing weather. Then, a cliff face appeared before him, giving him a glimmer of hope for survival. Although this shelter wasn't perfect, it was the best option within 100 miles. His top priority is to start a fire. But the snow keeps falling. Finding dry firewood is as hard as climbing to heaven. David immediately sets his sights on some slightly damp wood nearby. It will have to do for now. Next, he collects some clean snow to boil over the fire later. Whenever he has a moment, he gathers more wood from the surroundings. He knows that, only with a sufficient stockpile, can he survive the cold winter night. David gathers a lot of loose stones nearby. He plans to stack them to build a protective wall. After drinking a cup of boiling water to warm his body, he begins clearing the ground beneath the cliff. He also pries off any loose rocks from the cliff wall to prevent them from falling. The good news is, the heavy snow has finally stopped, and the sun is peeking out. But everyone knows melting snow is colder than falling snow. The temperature has actually dropped a few degrees. This makes David's need for a wall even more urgent. Luckily, some stones aren't frozen to the ground yet. When he encounters large rocks, he smashes them with a hammer, so they can be stacked steadily on the wall. Thanks to the abundant materials nearby, the wall reaches a good height in no time. A relatively enclosed small space is quickly forming under the cliff. He places his soaked shoes by the fire to dry. He also remembers to seal the front of the shelter, using branches mixed with grass. He carefully arranges them along the side of the wall, effectively blocking some of the incoming cold wind. After adding some firewood to the pile, David notices small drafts still coming through the cracks. He uses local resources snow as a sealant, smearing it evenly over the exterior gaps. The cold wind continues to howl, but hiding inside his shelter, David feels no chill at all. After working for half the day, he is starving, so he melts some more snow and cooks a block of instant noodles. In such a bone-chilling environment, a steaming bowl of noodles not only fills his stomach, but also brings immense warmth and comfort. This is the key guarantee that he can make it out of this snowfield. After eating, David prepares for bed. He separates a small pile of coals from the fire and moves them inside the shelter. To further raise the indoor temperature, then he crawls into his shelter early, lies on his mat, and rests peacefully.